Good evening from New York. We're going to go to Jacksonville, Florida, where in just a few moments we are going to learn the charge against George Zimmerman, the armed neighborhood watch volunteer who fired the gun that killed Trayvon Martin in this case that has gathered so much anger, national protest, and attention over these past few weeks. The announcement will be by Angela Corey, the lawyer who is the special counsel, special prosecutor in this case. Before her is a range of possible charges. One option, of course, to do nothing at all. Among those with us right now, Savannah Guthrie, our chief legal correspondent. Savannah, what are the options open to this prosecutor? What might we hear? The
toughest charge we could hear today would be a second-degree murder charge. We know it's not going to be first-degree murder or premeditated killing because in Florida, if you want to charge that, you have to go via a grand jury. This prosecutor opted not to do that. So there's the top charge here, murder 2, could also be a manslaughter charge, may even be an aggravated assault charge, so that would be unexpected.
And here's the special prosecutor.
Good evening, everyone. I am Angela Corey, the special prosecutor for the Trayvon Martin case. Just moments ago, we spoke by phone with Sabrina Fulton and Tracy Martin. It was less than 3 weeks ago that we told those sweet parents that we would get answers to all of their questions no matter where our quest for the truth led us. And it is the search for justice for Trayvon that has brought us to this moment. The team here with me has worked tirelessly looking for answers in Trayvon Martin's death. I want to introduce to you Bernie Delarianda, one of my top homicide prosecutors, and John Guy, my other top homicide prosecutor, who will lead this investigation. With us also is Jim Madden from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Dominic Pate, also one of our special agents in charge, our sheriff, John Rutherford, and our undersheriff, Dwayne Centerfit. We appreciate so much all of their cooperation in this. And I especially want to thank my two state attorney investigators, T.C. Osteen and Dale Gilbreth, who have spent countless hours doing what they do best, investigating homicides. Allow me to take a moment to acknowledge our governor, Rick Scott, and his office, Attorney General Pam Bondi and her office, along with our U.S. Attorney, Bobby O'Neill, for their continuing support of our appointment to this case and their support of this investigation. We spoke with all of them briefly and informed them of the results of our investigation and our plan as we continue. I can tell you we did not come to this decision lightly. This case is like a lot of the difficult cases we have handled for years here in our circuit, and we've made this decision in the same manner. Let me emphasize that we do not prosecute by public pressure or by petition. We prosecute based on the facts of any given case, as well as the laws of the state of Florida. When they appointed us to this case less than 3 weeks ago, I want you to know that these two fine prosecutors, despite all that is on their plate already, handling all of the homicides in the 4th Judicial Circuit, supervising the other young lawyers who also handle homicides, they willingly took this case on and said, we will lead this effort to seek justice for Trayvon. We launched an intensive investigation building on all of the work that Sanford Police Department and the State Attorney's Office in Seminole County had already done. Unless you've ever been a law enforcement officer or a prosecutor handling a difficult homicide case, you cannot know what it's like to launch this type of investigation and come to the right conclusion. The Supreme Court has defined our role on numerous occasions as prosecutors that we are not only ministers of justice, we are seekers of the truth. And we stay true to that mission. Again, we prosecute on facts and the laws of the great and sovereign state of Florida, and that's the way it will be in this case. When we took our oath of office in 2009, we pledged not only to look out for our precious victims of all of our cases, but also to adhere to the rules of the criminal justice system and the rules of our Constitution and statutes that protect a defendant's rights as well. When we charge a person with a crime, we are equally committed to justice on their behalf as we are on our victims' behalf. So we are here to do that on behalf of our victim, Trayvon Martin, and on behalf of the person responsible for his death, George Zimmerman. We will continue to seek the truth throughout this case. Every single day, our prosecutors across this great country handle difficult cases, and they adhere to that same standard, a never-ending search for the truth and a quest to always do the right thing for the right reason. There is a reason cases are tried in a court of law, not in the court of the public, and not by the media, because details have to come out in excruciating and minute fashion, detail by detail, bit of evidence by bit of evidence. And it's only then when the trier of fact, whether it's a judge or a jury, gets all of those details, that then the law is applied to that and a decision can be rendered. We will scrupulously adhere to our ethical obligations and to the rules of evidence in presenting this case that way. Today, we filed an information charging George Zimmerman with murder in the second degree. A capias has been issued for his arrest. With the filing of that information and the issuance of a capias, he will have a right to appear in front of a magistrate in Seminole County within 24 hours of his arrest, and thus formal prosecution will begin. We thank all of those people across this country who have sent positive energy and prayers our way. We ask you to continue to pray for Trayvon's family as well as for our prosecution team. I want to especially thank Mr. Crump and Mr. Parks, who have stayed in touch daily with us on behalf of our victim's family. Remember, it is Trayvon's family that are our constitutional victims and who have the right to know the critical stages of these proceedings. I will entertain some questions, but remember, we have very strict rules of ethics, very strict rules of criminal procedure, and we will be adhering to those rules. I will confirm that Mr. Zimmerman is indeed in custody. I will not tell you where. That's for his safety as well as everyone else's safety. I'm sorry.
Can you tell us what led to your decision today? Was there one single piece of evidence that led you to charge him with murder?
We don't discuss the evidence in a case. It would be improper to do so. It was a full investigation, full facts and circumstances that lead us to any decision in any case.
I'm sorry?
If he turned himself in, or was he arrested?
Mr. Zimmerman turned himself in and and by turning himself in was arrested on the capias that had already been issued.
Why did it take so long to come to this decision?
Well, it didn't take long. We have many complicated homicides that are thoroughly investigated. Remember, the prosecutor's burden under our Constitution is proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
But it's been 45 days since Trayvon Martin was killed. Can you talk about the process leading up to this? And did somebody drop the ball in the investigation?
I can tell you that this investigation was underway by both the Sanford Police Department and Norm Wolfinger's office. The investigation was in full mode, and the governor appointed us less than 3 weeks ago, and we took the work that they had done, which was significant. We carried on with that work, and we arrived at our decision approximately last week. And then, of course, following proper Florida law and procedure, we had to make sure we had everything in place to issue this capias and make this arrest. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what it was about what you uncovered that leads you to refuse this self-defense claim under the stand your ground on?
Well, that's what will be in court, detail by detail, piece of evidence by piece of evidence, factual evidence, physical evidence, testimonial evidence. That's why we try cases in a courtroom.
Can you tell us whether Mr. Zimmerman is in the state of Florida? Is there already a bonding process underway?
I can tell you that in Seminole County, and I want to thank their chief judge, he was very kind in helping us start setting these procedures up last week. He informed us that they have a bond schedule there. And when a capias is issued, there is originally no bond, but that Mr. Zimmerman's lawyers will be entitled to request a bond, at which point a bond hearing will be held. Bond hearings are a common occurrence. Our lawyers handle them every day. And that's where that will be determined as to whether or not no bond, which is the bond set currently on the capias, will be changed by the court. Yes, ma'am.
Have you determined whose voice is crying for help on the 911 recording?
That would be commenting on the facts of the case, and we're not going to do that at this time. Yes, Catherine.
Talk about why your investigation led you to the second-degree murder charge. the senator's...
We are going to come out of that room right now, having learned the news of the news conference, and that is, in the trade, it's called Murder 2, second-degree murder, the highest possible charge for the facts, the known facts of this case. The highest, of course, would be premeditated. That would require a different process. Savannah Guthrie, do I have that about right?
Sounds exactly right. And so this prosecutor has made the most difficult decision she could. She's pressing the highest charge, which means her standard of proof is that much higher. Murder in second degree essentially is an intentional killing with malice in the mind. Premeditated killing, of course, is the most serious charge he could have faced. So this will come down to a question of facts, the facts that some reporters were asking that prosecutor. Who was crying on that 911 call? Who saw what? Anyone who thinks that this will be an easy case for the prosecutors to convict on doesn't understand how difficult their standard of proof is. And then you add to it the stand your ground law. In Florida, this defendant is actually entitled to a hearing before trial where he can argue to a judge, I was acting in self-defense. A judge could throw it out then before they even get to trial. All
right. We're preparing our coverage tonight for NBC Nightly News when we'll have a lot more on this. Trayvon Martin's parents, by the way, are going to be on the Today Show live tomorrow morning. So much more on all of this later. I'm Brian Williams, NBC News, New York.
Office, and then Bernie and John and their team took this over and did a lot more work, and we came to our conclusion based on the facts and Florida's law. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Obviously, the maximum sentence for second-degree murder would be life in prison. Is it your desire, as the prosecutor of this case,